Debra Rose. Welcome to the Winter Forest Vibes collaboration on a common canvas. This is hosted by Jeannie's palette and Teresa's silhouette for all things art. The name of my painting that I'm creating in this video that you're about to see, I've named it Whispers of the Winter Forest. Reminds me a lot of my mom and dad and where we used to camp when we were younger, when my dad would go hunting. My dad only hunted for anything that we would have on our dinner table, by the way, just so you know. But this reminded me of my mom and dad. And so it was done in several different phases over 4 days, 3 or 4 days. And this was a flip cup pour. There was snow. I did a flip cup pour underneath, or a straight pour underneath. I put a vinyl banner on here, hand painted some snow on the trees, added the moon, and voila. So I hope you enjoy the creation process. I did speed it up quite a bit, and I did it as a voiceover so that I would try to keep it below 30 minutes for you. Okay, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy the collaboration of all of us artists that are in this Winter Forest Vibes collaboration. Take care. God bless. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hi friends, welcome to the Winter Forest Vibes YouTube event hosted by Jeannie's Palette and Teresa's Silhouette Spot for all things art. I am Debra from Art by Debra Rose here on YouTube and on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok. I'm not real active there, but I am on that platform as well. So today I'm going to create a piece that actually took me 4 days to create. So this video was very, very long. I'm doing a voiceover because I'm actually speeding up a bunch of the videos for you, but I am creating a beautiful nighttime winter scene silhouette. So I'm going to use the flip cup method for this piece. As you can see, I'm going to flip it on one end and drag it across the other. The top part of the canvas that you're seeing here will be the nighttime sky, and the bottom part that is below the tape will actually be the snow and where I will place my vinyl stencil that will also be a part of this painting. The colors for this painting were actually a mix of a lot of my leftover colors that I have used in previous pours. They include dioxazine purple, which I'm showing you right here. This is mixed with gluol and water. I am using Amsterdam white, also mixed with gluol and water. And then I have this mix of blues. I cannot remember what's in there, but I know there's an ultramarine blue in that, probably a couple of different blues. I know for sure. Have to shake it up a little bit. And then this kind of an aqua blue, viridian green. This is a mix of different blues. It might have been leftover paints. And then this is a mix of Paynes gray and, I'll have to think what the blue is and put it in there. And then I have this combination of pinks that will go on the bottom with the snow. And so now I'm just kind of showing you where I'm going to place it, and I will begin filling the cups with the paint and layering them, and I'm going to do the sky first. This is where I might begin to speed up the video a little bit. I don't want to bore you with watching me fill cups and tilt it. But I do want you to see that the first thing that I'm going to do is actually put Oxide black base because it is a night sky. You can see that I'm kind of squeezing it out of the bottle here, and then I decide, oh, well, you know what? It's not coming out fast enough for little Miss Impatient Debra. So I take the top off and just pour it. And yeah, I'll just pour it out and I will spread it over the canvas. And then I am just going to speed this up a little bit and give you some music that you can enjoy. This is actually sped up at least 5 times. I want to get my canvas completely covered on the bottom, including the sides. Even though tilting it will probably put the paint over the sides, I just want to make sure there's no white canvas showing. I'm not touching that bottom part of the canvas with my paint at the moment. And here I am, I'm going to layer my cups. I'm going to layer them in the exact same way. The blue and then the mix of the Paynes gray and blue. I'm adding a little cloud mix here just because I think it's going to give me some effects, which it kind of did, but not what I was expecting. And now I'm just alternating the layers here. And I know it's going pretty fast, but I don't want to keep you all night. I'm trying to keep my video a little bit shorter. And I believe these are maybe 3 or 4 ounce cups, and I'm filling them pretty much to the top. And then I get worried at the end whether or not I had enough paint, which I ended up having enough paint. So here I am just flipping the cup and then flip and drag, and you can see some little cells happening in here. This is sped up quite a bit. This took me a long time to do. I add a little bit of extra flow paint. I kind of thought it was a mistake on that one side because it ended up darker. So I am speeding this up. I just tilt left and right. I keep bringing the weight of the paint back to the center and back and forth, back and forth. You can see that one spot there that's by my hand, that dark spot, that really bothered me. It ended up being great at the end, but it kind of bothered me. So I thought maybe I should add extra paint. But you can see that cloud mix kind of did some nice effects there. I apologize for the glare of my overhead lights. There's that black area that I'm just like, what am I gonna do with that? So I decided to add a little more purple and some of the blues, the dark blue and the Paynes gray, and then I add a little bit more of my white, which I believe that may have actually been some interference white. And right here, I was just using my heat gun to pop the bubbles. Then I pulled out my airbrush, and this is gonna look like a hot mess initially, but using the airbrush kind of mixed all of the paint and moved it up towards the top of the canvas because I kind of wanted like an aurora kind of look in the background. And of course I was still being bugged by that dark spot at the bottom, but it ended up being good in the end. And now I'm just tilting off any extra paint. And I'm okay satisfied. So now I'm going to just take the tape off that was separating my sky from my snow. I don't know about you, but that is just always so satisfying. I didn't want to speed that up. Yep. And I have a very defined line. So now I'm going to pour my bottom, which would be where my snow line is. So I'm going to use a lighter palette of colors, including my Amsterdam titanium white, which is an opaque color. I'm going to use my pinks in this. I'm going to use some TLP pigments in this, and the TLP pigments that I'm using, this is silver that I'm pouring on here. I wanted some sparkle in my snow, and so that's just Deco Art silver. And then there's that pink. And then I'm looking at all my paints and trying to decide what I want to do. And this is a little bit of pigment again. It's probably interference colors, but I had a bunch of colors that were all mixed up, a bunch of my pigments that were all mixed up. And so I decided just toss them in there. They were pretty light colors, and I love this Little Piggy pigments. Those are my favorite. I think I actually had some purples here. There's probably agapanthus in that. I'm almost positive. And we're gonna add a little more white. Now I'm not going to do a flip cup pour here. I am actually going to do kind of pour the paint across. I just decided to add extra silver in there. Laying down the titanium white. And just going to spread it out. I sped this up a bit for you so you don't have to get bored. And now I'm just pouring that paint like a straight pour, but across the whole, which would be the bottom of my canvas where my snow is. Because at this point I'm going to use a napkin, and I am going to, oh, it's actually a paper towel, and I'm going to wet the paper towel and I'm going to drag it across those colors. I think I tore that paper towel in half. And then I just use my spray bottle and I just wet the edge of it so that it will stick down on the edge of my canvas. And then I'm going to just lay it at the edge very carefully and pull it in one straight, don't hesitate, pull across the canvas. But I'm going slowly. I'm not, as you can see, I didn't speed this up. I wanted to go very slow. Most of this is going to be covered by my stencil, or not my stencil, but my vinyl piece. And I just dragged it off. Took out the air bubbles with my heat gun, and now I'm going to tilt again. Now, when I do tilt this, it's also tilting some of that sky paint. So this process does take some time, because I'm watching my sky as I'm tilting off my snow, my nighttime snow. So I'm just bringing it all down. This is, again, this is sped up. This took quite some time to do this. I'm watching the top and the bottom as I'm doing this. I realize I need a little bit more white, and I'm going to drag my paper towel over it again because I didn't want quite so much pink on there. Now I'm just checking my sides. Okay, and here it is 2 days later. I did do a little bit more hand painting afterwards. As you can see, I just kind of softened that line up a little bit. I added a little bit more blue to the bottom, and I'm sorry it's choppy. I don't know what happened to that video, but here you can see this is the vinyl stencil that not stencil, but the vinyl banner that I designed and cut on my Cricut, and I was just weeding out all the extra. And I apologize, I had a video, at least I thought I did, of me placing this on my piece, but I must not have hit record. So the next thing you will see is it's already on there. And then once I placed it, I loved where it was, and I decided that that bottom part should be black. So now I'm going to put Oxide black on that bottom because I really only wanted the lit snow behind the deer and the trees, because where I place the moon, you'll see. This is all in my head as I'm doing this. So now I take more of my Oxide black, and now I want to give it enough coating to pretty much make my vinyl piece disappear, make it look like it's actually part of my painting. And let me tell you what, placing vinyl on canvas is not easy. I did use a straight ruler to mark it, and then I had to place it and make sure that the transfer paper did not pull any paint off of my canvas. You know, here I'm using Sellenier. This is a white, but it has a real beautiful shimmer. And now I'm going to hand paint snow on all of my trees. Just enough, just on the tops of those tree limbs to give that effect of a silhouette, but with some snow behind it. I'm not going to place any snow on my deer, just on my trees. So I am going to, this is sped up again, probably 5 to 7 times. This took quite some time to do, each individual piece of all the little tree limbs. This piece reminded me of my mom and dad as I was doing it. They loved to go to the mountains, and my dad was an avid deer hunter. In fact, on their headstone at the cemetery besides the Blessed Mother is actually a mountain scene with deer on it. It's just beautiful. This reminded me of my mom and dad. This painting will probably remain in my own private collection and won't be sold, just because it does remind me of my mom and dad. But here I am just getting all those tree limbs covered. Again, I'm not sure why my video was jumping. All right, so now to the last part of this video is where I'm going to add the moon. I have a circle stencil. I have titanium white and titanium buff from Amsterdam. I really stink at circles, so I have to have a stencil for circles. So what I did was I used my Amsterdam white, and I just went from the outside of the stencil in. I didn't want to add any gloss gel on this because I didn't want my moon to actually stand above my canvas. When the paint dried, I want it to actually be a part of the canvas, but I am not a good circle draw. I just don't know. I'm not good at it. I am ambidextrous, however, so I can paint left-handed and right-handed, but I'm just going around the edge of the stencil, going from the outside of the stencil inward. And I'm just going to layer my titanium white. And this is just going to give me a background for my moon. We all know that the moon really is not white, so it's just kind of covering up that my dark sky a little bit, just to give my titanium buff and some of the shadowing a good background. Now I'm just going to lift it, and there, look, yay, circle. Again, this is sped up quite a bit. This took me quite a bit of time. Grabbed my detail brush. Take your time when you're doing this and enjoy it. I really enjoyed doing this painting. I generally don't do a lot of things with a lot of detail. I'm a Shelley art bloomer, but this was a great challenge for me. I will put in the description under this video, I will put our whole playlist for this collaboration. I am so excited that I was invited to be a part of this. Right now, I think I was just kind of deciding, do I need a bigger brush? This is where I'm going to start to place the colors. So I'm using Amsterdam titanium buff. I'm also going to bring in a little bit of Oxide black for some shadowing. This is kind of all new to me. It made me really want to, excuse me, really want to learn more detail painting. This was actually coming right out of my head. You know, as an artist, sometimes you get things in your head and then you just have to put them onto canvas, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and this happens to be one of the times when it actually worked for me. Yep. And I thought maybe that adding a little bit of a shadow around the moon would help a little bit, and I think I opted out, so I wiped it off. This is where baby wipes come in handy. So I just got rid of it. I didn't like it. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So here I'm going to mix some of my Oxide, a tiny little bit of my Oxide black with my titanium buff, and I'm making a very warm gray color, and I'm just going to give my moon a little bit of character. Now, I did not have a moon in front of me to paint the moon face. I just wanted to give some shadows to my moon. It is the moon that exists in my head, not the moon that exists in the galaxy. Just letting you know. Now I'm just taking a dry brush and just kind of blending that in to give it softer edges. And I like it. I stare a little bit and I think, oh, I need to add a little bit more detail around the edge of it. Hope you're all still with me. I wanted my circle to be, my moon to be very sharp, a little bit more sharp around the edges, so I just use my detail brush a little bit. Just kind of fill in a little bit of those spaces. And then once I'm satisfied with that, which I'm just about there, this is still sped up, by the way, so you can tell how slow I was going. And so the last part of this piece is I take a toothbrush and I want to just throw some snow, just some soft falling snow. Even with a full moon, living in a place where we have snow, if it's a very frosty night, you can actually see some little flurries in the air. And that's all I'm actually creating, is just a few little snow flurries. You can tell it's very sped up. My fingers don't move that fast. Yep. I believe that I'm still in this part, I'm using the Sellenier because I wanted my snow to have a little bit of sparkle to it. So that Sellenier is it's white, but it's got some shimmer to it. And I got a few little chunks in there, so I just used my finger. And baby wipes, if you're not happy with something, you can just take a baby wipe and just wipe it off. Because I did let my paint dry for a couple of days before I did all of this part. And I apologize that my canvas was not all the way up in the frame, but believe it or not, this is actually a screen recording because for some reason this part of my video is on my iPhone but won't save anywhere else, not even to the cloud. And here is the finished piece. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will watch everyone else in this wonderful collaboration. I want to thank Jeanie for inviting me, and I so appreciate everything. God bless, take care. I hope you like this video, subscribe, and give me any of your feedback. Thank you again.